Everyday superpower. We talk body language, relationships, game, everything in between. Alright, so this should be a brief one, I assume. We're gonna talk about dating apps. It might not make much sense if you are not using any form of dating apps or you're not familiar with dating apps. And don't get me wrong, I've not used every dating app in the world. Primarily I've used Tinder initially when I was younger, but nowadays it's not as good as Hinge in my personal opinion. I do like Hinge. Opens up more room for actual discussion as opposed to purely aesthetic based. Both are alright, but I like to engage with something worth talking about. I think that's where I personally separate myself from other people, so that's good. So there's Hinge, there's Tinder, there's an app called Badoo, which is crap to be honest, but I've messed around on that. And I've used Bumble, but Bumble seems to be a back to front sort of dating mechanism because the woman makes the first approach, so that's sort of backwards biologically speaking. And I think really if you're not like a quality man, you're gonna struggle on that because you can't outreach as well as you can do on the other apps. But what I'm saying is you can purchase like ways to fast track your way into that woman's inbox or to notify her of your presence. On Tinder you can get super likes, which your like will be prominent. It'll clearly, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but it'll clearly like essentially state this person has liked you, do you like them back, will you allow them, this person has specifically like purchased this in order to catch your attention, you are one of the chosen, which should make them swoon, right? Or so you would think, the traditional person would think so. And then on Hinge you've got roses, and I think you actually get a few free roses as you use the app, so that's essentially the same. Instead of like sending a message or anything, you give them a rose, and that's like, it puts you at the forefront and sort of says, you have used your rose on them, you have chosen them out of the many, so they should feel some sort of way in regards to that. And then I definitely know on Hinge you can like pay additional to not only get more roses, but to sort of make your likes a priority. So when they've got this incredible list of men who have sent them messages and liked them and stuff, you can be at the top of that list and whatnot. And although it seems like a good idea and a productive idea to be able to be at the forefront, I mean, if you've watched this channel long enough and spoken to us about how this actually works, you'll know it's silly, but at first glance, when you're not necessarily too clued up on it all, it might seem like a good idea. Reality speaking, we did a video, didn't we? You can't negotiate attraction. If they're not into you, it's not going to make a difference if you have polished it and put a different colour on it. It's not going to matter if you've said, I'm here. They already knew you were there, right? If not then, at some point. I mean, there's so many different factors to this which is detrimental to you, man. You've gone out of your way to say, you're so special and I'm below you, and that's why I'm giving you this special sort of significant gift, right? That's a problem. It's a problem because you're forcing a reaction out of her. So that reaction will be loud. It'll sound like a gunshot when she doesn't match you back. And just sort of just giving your all way too early. When two people pass in the street that woman will be attracted to that man if he fulfills her criteria of what she finds attractive. The equivalent, let's say you're walking on opposite sides of the road. She walks down one side, the opposite direction as you, and she might have a little glance to see you. She sees you as she's walking by and looks over the road and sees you, and she's attracted to you. Now imagine if you were that same person, so you were an attractive man to her, but as you're walking on these opposite ways towards each other, you go out of your way to cross the road and pass her ever so slightly closer. You don't say anything to her, you're the same person walking in the same direction, but as you see her, you cross that road and then end up on the same path walking off. It's a bit too bold. It's like saying, hello, I'm here. She's gonna think, bloody hell, has he done that intentionally? Has he intentionally gone out of his way, used his energy, exerted his efforts in order to do that? He didn't even say hi to me. The ball's still in my court because I can turn this guy down. It's a sad position to be in because you're either attracted to somebody or you're not. The way you spruce it up and add bells onto it and give it a little jingle and sort of force your way to the front, you can't be unattractive to this person. Push your way to the front of the queue. You're still unattractive to that person. There's no way of selling that. It's a yes or a no. So don't fall into the trap that you can be at the front of the queue, or you can send her something. She'll think, oh, he's chosen me. No, it'll be the counter opposite. She'll think, this guy's chosen me. Yuck. This guy has submitted to me. The man I'm interested in and talking to now didn't have to do this. It's the equivalent of, well, it's not the equivalent, but there's a parallel to when the man puts himself in, let's say the man's not a leader. There's a relationship. A man and a woman are in a relationship in a house. And that man doesn't act like a leader, right? That means when that woman goes out and leaves the house and speaks to a few men just through the workplace or in the local gym or something, just out of friendship, the man who turns up who is a leader, he puts himself above and beyond not only her but her partner as well. So that man who is speaking to that woman who hasn't had to use a super like to get her, who hasn't had to send her a rose to get that woman on that dating app, he places himself above her and you, because you've had to use some sort of underhanded weird technique to garner her attention, whereas that other man hasn't. So you want to be on an even playing field with men who accentuate the correct qualities. If she's not taking you as you are, don't try and convince her, right?